There's a fire burning tonight. Can you see it? Close your eyes for just a moment and imagine it with me. The flames dance in shades of orange and gold, casting warm shadows that flicker against ancient stone. The wood pops and crackles, sending tiny embers spiraling upward into the darkness like prayers ascending to heaven. And there, on the other side of those flames, someone is waiting for you. Someone who knows your name, someone who has been expecting you. Welcome, dear friend. I'm so grateful you're here. I know the journey that brought you to this moment. Perhaps you can barely remember how you arrived. Was it exhaustion that led you here? Was it the weight of carrying too much for too long? Maybe it was that moment today when you realized you simply couldn't take another step forward without collapsing. Or perhaps it was quieter than that. A whisper in your spirit that said, "Come, rest, it's time." Whatever brought you here, you are not here by accident. This fire has been burning for you. This place has been prepared. And the one who tends this fire has been waiting with infinite patience for you to finally accept what he's been offering all along. Rest, true rest, holy rest. The kind of rest that doesn't just refresh your body, but restores your very soul. I want you to know something before we go any further into this sacred space together. You don't have to perform here. You don't have to impress anyone. You don't have to have all the right words or the perfect posture or even the strength to sit up straight. If you're listening to this while lying in bed, exhausted beyond measure, that's exactly where you need to be. If you're hearing these words while tears stream down your face because you finally found a safe place to let them fall, cry freely. If your heart is so tired that you can barely muster the faith to believe that rest is even possible, bring that tired heart just as it is. Jesus isn't shocked by your weariness. He's not disappointed in your exhaustion. In fact, he's the one who lit this fire specifically for people like you, for people like us, for everyone who has discovered that they cannot manufacture their own strength anymore. Before we settle in by this fire, before we open the ancient words that will speak life into our tired bones, let's take a moment to acknowledge what brought us here. Let's be honest before God about the state of our souls. Father God, we come to you tonight not with strength, but with weakness. Not with answers, but with questions. Not with energy, but with exhaustion that runs deeper than we sometimes know how to name. We come because we heard, somehow in the noise and chaos of our lives, we heard that there was a fire burning. We heard that Jesus was here. We heard that rest was possible. Lord, some of us feel guilty for being this tired. We feel like we should be stronger, like we should be able to handle more. Forgive us for believing the lie that our worth is measured by our productivity. Forgive us for running on empty and calling it faithfulness. Tonight, we accept your invitation. We come to the fire. We come to sit with Jesus. We come to finally rest. Prepare our hearts for what you want to speak to us. Quiet the voices that tell us we should be doing something else. Still the anxiety that whispers, we don't have time for this. We're here. We're listening. We're ready to receive. In Jesus' name, amen. Now let's turn to the words that have comforted tired souls for thousands of years. Let's hear what God has been saying to exhausted people throughout all of history. Let's discover that our tiredness is not a surprise to him. In fact, he's been addressing it since the very beginning. There's a reason we need to start here in these ancient words. Because before we can understand the depth of the rest Jesus offers us by this fire, we need to hear his own invitation. We need to hear it in his own words, spoken 2,000 years ago to people who were just as tired as we are tonight. People who were carrying burdens they were never meant to carry. People who were striving and struggling and wondering if peace was even possible. Listen to what Jesus said. Really listen. Imagine him speaking these words directly to you. His eyes reflecting the firelight, his voice gentle but firm. His presence radiating a peace you've been searching for your entire life. From the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 11, verses 28 through 30. Jesus is speaking. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, For I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. Come to me, not come to a program, not come to a system, not come to a set of rules or regulations that will add more weight to your already heavy load. Come to me, come to a person, come to Jesus himself. Come to the one who sees you, knows you, understands you completely. Look, you who are weary and burdened. He's talking to you. He's talking to the person who woke up tired this morning, even after a full night's sleep. He's talking to the person carrying grief that feels like a physical weight on their chest. He's talking to the parent who's exhausted from worry. He's talking to the worker who's burned out from trying to meet impossible expectations. He's talking to the caregiver who has nothing left to give. He's talking to the person who's tired of pretending everything is fine when it's not, and I will give you rest. Not I might give you rest if you earn it. Not I'll give you rest after you prove yourself worthy. Not I'll give you rest once you get your life together. No, I will give you rest. It's a gift. It's a promise. It's an offering extended to you right now, right here, by this fire. But notice what comes next. Take my yoke upon you. Now this might sound confusing at first. Jesus just invited us to rest, and now he's talking about taking on a yoke. Isn't a yoke something that oxen wear when they're working? How is that rest? Here's what you need to understand. In Jesus' time, a yoke was a wooden beam that connected two oxen together so they could pull a plow or a cart. A young, inexperienced ox would be yoked together with an older, stronger ox. The younger ox didn't carry the full weight. The older ox bore most of the burden, while the younger one learned and grew stronger. When Jesus says, "Take my yoke upon you," he's not adding to your burden. He's inviting you to be yoked together with him. He's offering to carry the weight. He's saying, stop trying to do this alone. Stop trying to carry everything by yourself. Let me carry it with you. Let me carry you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart. This is crucial. Jesus isn't a harsh taskmaster. He isn't standing over you with a whip, demanding more and more. He's gentle. He's humble. He understands your limitations because he lived in human flesh. He experienced exhaustion. He knew what it was like to need rest. You will find rest for your souls. Not just rest for your body, though that's important. Not just rest from your work, though that's necessary, but rest for your souls. The deepest kind of rest. The kind that reaches into the anxious places, the broken places, the weary places deep inside you that no amount of sleep can touch. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. When you're yoked to Jesus, when you're doing life with him rather than for him, when you're drawing on his strength rather than your own, everything changes. The burden becomes light, not because the circumstances change necessarily, but because you're not carrying them alone anymore. This is the invitation that brought you to the fire tonight. This is what Jesus has been whispering to your tired heart. Come, rest. Let me carry what you've been carrying. Let me give you what you've been desperate for, but couldn't find anywhere else. But there's more to this story of rest. So much more. Let me take you back to the very beginning, to the foundation of everything, to the moment when God himself modeled rest for all humanity. From the book of Genesis, chapter 2, verses 1 through 3. Thus the heavens and the earth were completed in all their vast array. By the seventh day, God had finished the work he had been doing. So on the seventh day, he rested from all his work. Then God blessed the seventh day and made it holy, because on it he rested from all the work of creating that he had done. Think about this for a moment. God rested, not because he was tired. God doesn't get tired. The prophet Isaiah tells us that the Lord is the everlasting God, the creator of the ends of the earth, who will not grow tired or weary. So why did God rest? He rested to establish a pattern. He rested to show us that rest isn't a sign of weakness. It's a sign of wisdom. It's part of the design. It's woven into the fabric of creation itself. God worked for 6 days and rested on the seventh, and then he blessed that day of rest. He made it holy. He set it apart as sacred. This means that when you rest, you're not being lazy, you're not being unproductive, you're not wasting time. You're participating in something holy. You're following a pattern established by God Himself. You're acknowledging that you are human, that you are finite, that you need rest, just like every human being who has ever lived. And here's something beautiful. God didn't just rest from His work. He rested in the presence of what He had created. He looked at everything He had made and called it good. He took time to enjoy it, to appreciate it, to simply be present with it. That's what He's inviting you to do tonight by this fire. Not just to stop working, though. That's part of it. But to be present, to be here, fully here, without thinking about what you need to do next or what you should have done differently or what's waiting for you tomorrow. Just to be here by this fire, in the presence of Jesus, resting in the goodness of this moment. Let me share another passage with you, one that reveals just how deeply God understands our need for rest. From the book of Psalms, Psalm 23. This is one of the most beloved passages in all of Scripture, and perhaps you've heard it many times before. But tonight, I want you to hear it with fresh ears. Hear it as a tired person receiving an invitation to rest. The Lord is my shepherd. I lack nothing. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters. He refreshes my soul. He guides me along the right paths for His name's sake. Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. Surely your goodness and love will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. The Lord is my shepherd. This isn't just a nice poetic image. In the ancient world, being a shepherd was hard, exhausting work. Shepherds didn't have days off. They were constantly vigilant, constantly caring for their sheep, constantly protecting them from danger. A good shepherd knew each sheep individually. He knew which ones were prone to wander, which ones were weak, which ones needed extra attention. Jesus calls Himself the Good Shepherd, and you are His sheep. He knows you individually. He knows your weaknesses, your tendencies, your needs, and He's committed to caring for you with the same dedication that a good shepherd cares for his flock. They lack nothing. When the Lord is your shepherd, you have everything you truly need. Not everything you want, perhaps. Not everything the world tells you you should have. But everything you actually need for your soul to be at peace. He makes me lie down in green pastures. Notice that word, makes. Sometimes we're so driven, so convinced that we have to keep going, that God has to make us lie down. He has to intervene. Maybe that's what's happening right now in your life. Maybe the exhaustion you're feeling, the burnout, the inability to keep going at the pace you've been going. Maybe that's God making you lie down in green pastures. And green pastures aren't just any pastures. They're places of abundance, places where there's plenty of food, places of nourishment and provision. God doesn't just make you stop. He makes you stop in a good place. A place where you can be restored. He leads me beside quiet waters, not raging rivers, not tumultuous seas. Quiet waters, still waters, peaceful places, places where you can drink deeply without fear, where you can be refreshed without being overwhelmed. He refreshes my soul. There it is again. Not just physical rest, but soul rest. The kind of restoration that goes deep, that touches the places inside you that have been running on empty for so long. This psalm continues with a profound truth. Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Rest doesn't mean the absence of difficulty. It doesn't mean everything in your life suddenly becomes easy. But it does mean that you don't walk through those dark valleys alone. The shepherd is with you. His presence is your comfort. And then this beautiful, almost shocking image. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. God sets up a feast for you, a place of rest and nourishment, even while threats still exist around you. Even while you still have problems to face, battles to fight, challenges to overcome. He creates a space of peace right in the middle of the chaos. Your cup overflows. Not just enough to get by, not just barely sufficient, overflowing, abundant, more than enough. Surely your goodness and love will follow me all the days of my life. God's goodness and love aren't just waiting for you in heaven someday. They're following you right now, today, in this moment. They've been following you all along, even when you were too tired to notice them. And they'll keep following you tomorrow, and the day after that, and every day for the rest of your life. And I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. This rest we're experiencing by the fire tonight, it's not just temporary. It's a foretaste of an eternal rest. A glimpse of what it means to dwell in God's presence forever, where there is no more exhaustion, no more striving, no more weariness. Can you feel it? Can you feel the invitation becoming clearer? Jesus is here by this fire, and he's offering you rest. Not because you've earned it, not because you've finally gotten everything together, but because he loves you, because he sees how tired you are, because he's been waiting for you to finally accept what he's been offering all along. There's one more passage I want to share with you before we close this first chapter. It's a promise that will carry us forward into everything else we're going to discover together by this fire. From the book of Isaiah, chapter 40, verses 28 through 31. Do you not know? Have you not heard? The Lord is the everlasting God, the creator of the ends of the earth. He will not grow tired or weary, and his understanding no one can fathom. He gives strength to the weary and increases the power of the weak. Even youths grow tired and weary, and young men stumble and fall. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. The Lord will not grow tired or weary. He has infinite strength, infinite energy, infinite capacity, and he wants to share that strength with you. He gives strength to the weary. That's you. That's why you're here. Even youths grow tired and weary, and young men stumble and fall. It doesn't matter how strong you are, how young you are, how capable you think you should be. Everyone gets tired. Everyone reaches their limit. This isn't a personal failing. It's part of being human, but those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. When you place your hope in Jesus, when you come to him for rest, when you sit by this fire with him, something miraculous happens. Your strength is renewed, not because you manufactured it yourself, not because you tried harder or pushed through, but because he gave it to you. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. This is the promise. This is what's available to you, not by your own power, but by his. So here we are, you and I, sitting by this fire with Jesus. We've heard his invitation. We've heard the promises. We've begun to understand that rest isn't just allowed, it's essential. It's holy. It's part of God's design for us. But the question remains, how do we actually receive this rest? How do we stop striving long enough to experience it? How do we let go of all the things we're carrying and let Jesus carry them instead? That's what we're going to discover together in the chapters ahead. There's so much more to this story, so many more truths to uncover, so many more promises to receive. The fire is still burning. Jesus is still here. And he's not in a hurry. He's going to take all the time you need to help you understand what it truly means to rest in him. For now, just be here. Just breathe. Just let the warmth of this fire begin to thaw the frozen places in your soul. Let the presence of Jesus start to minister to your weariness. You don't have to figure everything out tonight. You don't have to fix everything. You don't even have to fully understand everything you've just heard. All you have to do is stay by the fire. All you have to do is accept the invitation. All you have to do is whisper, even if it's just in your heart, Jesus, I'm tired. I'm so tired. I need your rest, and he hears you. Oh, beloved, he hears you, and he's already answering. The fire has burned lower now, settling into steady, glowing embers that pulse with warmth. The frantic flames have given way to something deeper, something more sustainable. And isn't that interesting? Even fire knows that it cannot burn at its highest intensity forever. Even fire must settle into a rhythm that can be maintained. You're still here. You didn't leave when the invitation was extended. You didn't run back to the chaos and noise and endless demands. You stayed, and that matters more than you might realize. Because staying is an act of courage, when everything in your world is screaming that you need to be somewhere else, doing something else, being something else. Jesus noticed that you stayed. He always notices. And now, as you sit across from him with the fire between you, he's ready to tell you something. Something you've needed to hear for a very long time. Something that will begin to unravel the knots of exhaustion that have been tightening around your soul. But first, let me ask you a question. When did you first start believing that rest was something you had to earn? Can you remember? Was it childhood, when you learned that love came with conditions, that approval required performance? Was it your first job, where you discovered that your worth was measured in productivity? Was it the church, where busyness became synonymous with faithfulness, where rest felt like laziness dressed up in spiritual language? Somewhere along the way, most of us absorbed a lie. We started believing that rest is a reward for work completed, rather than a necessity for work sustained. We started thinking that we had to deserve peace, rather than receive it as a gift. We began measuring our value by our output, our worth by our weariness. And Jesus sees it. He sees how you've been running, striving, pushing, performing. He sees the exhaustion you hide behind your smile. He sees the anxiety that wakes you at 3 in the morning. He sees the way you've convinced yourself that if you could just do a little more, be a little better, work a little harder, then maybe finally you could rest. But tonight, by this fire, he's going to show you a different way. Let me take you to a moment in Scripture that might surprise you. It's a story about work and rest, about priorities and perspective, about two sisters and a choice that would echo through the centuries. From the Gospel of Luke, chapter 10, verses 38 through 42. As Jesus and his disciples were on their way, he came to a village where a woman named Martha opened her home to him. She had a sister called Mary, who sat at the Lord's feet listening to what he said. But Martha was distracted by all the preparations that had to be made. She came to him and asked, "Lord, don't you care that my sister has left me to do the work by myself? Tell her to help me." "Martha, Martha," the Lord answered, "you are worried and upset about many things, but few things are needed, or indeed only one. Mary has chosen what is better, and it will not be taken away from her." Now, before we go any further, I want to acknowledge something. Many of us relate far more to Martha than to Mary. Martha was working. She was serving. She was doing what needed to be done. Someone had to prepare the meal, clean the house, take care of the guests. Martha was being responsible, practical, diligent. These aren't bad qualities. These are actually good qualities. But here's what Martha missed. In her busyness, in her distraction, in her focus on all the preparations that had to be made, she missed the presence of Jesus. He was right there in her home, and she was too busy serving him to actually be with him. Mary, on the other hand, made a different choice. She sat at Jesus' feet. She stopped working. She stopped serving. She stopped doing all the things that seemed so urgent and necessary, and she simply listened. She simply received. She simply rested in his presence. And when Martha complained, when she essentially asked Jesus to validate her busyness and rebuke Mary's rest, Jesus said something remarkable. "Martha, Martha." He said her name twice, the way you do when you're speaking to someone with deep tenderness, when you want them to really hear you. You are worried and upset about many things. Jesus wasn't angry with Martha. He was concerned for her. He could see that her service had become a burden rather than a joy. He could see that she was worried and upset, distracted and disturbed. He could see that her busyness was actually stealing her peace. But few things are needed, or indeed only one. What is that one thing? Sitting at Jesus' feet, being in his presence, listening to his words, receiving what he has to offer. Mary had chosen what was better, and it would not be taken away from her. Here's what's so revolutionary about this story. Jesus valued Mary's rest over Martha's work. He affirmed the one who stopped doing to simply be. He defended the choice to prioritize presence over productivity. Now, does this mean we never work? Does this mean we neglect our responsibilities? Of course not. But it does mean that our doing must flow from our being. Our service must flow from our sitting at Jesus' feet. Our work must flow from our rest in His presence. You cannot give what you haven't received. You cannot pour from an empty cup. You cannot serve from a depleted soul. And yet so many of us try. We try so hard. We work and work and work, all while running on empty, all while desperately needing the very thing we're too busy to receive. Rest, presence, Jesus Himself. Let me show you something else, something that might change the way you think about rest forever. It's another story from the Gospels, and it reveals something profound about Jesus' own relationship with rest. From the Gospel of Mark, chapter 6, verses 30 through 32. The apostles gathered around Jesus and reported to Him all they had done and taught. Then, because so many people were coming and going that they did not even have a chance to eat, He said to them, "Come with me by yourselves to a quiet place and get some rest." So they went away by themselves in a boat to a solitary place. Look at this carefully. The disciples had been working. They'd been teaching and healing and ministering to people. They were doing exactly what Jesus had sent them out to do. They were being faithful, obedient, productive, but they were also exhausted. So many people were coming and going that they didn't even have a chance to eat. And what did Jesus do? Did He tell them to push through? Did He remind them that the work was important and people were depending on them? Did He suggest they were being weak or uncommitted? No, He invited them to rest. Come with me by yourselves to a quiet place and get some rest. Notice the invitation. Come with me, not go rest while I keep working. Come with me. Rest isn't something we do apart from Jesus. It's something we do with Him by yourselves. Away from the crowds, away from the demands, away from the noise and the needs and the constant pressure to a quiet place, a place of peace, a place of stillness, a place where you can hear yourself think and feel and breathe and get some rest. This is a command, not a suggestion. Jesus is telling them to rest. He's giving them permission. He's creating space for it. He's prioritizing it. Now here's what's really interesting. If you keep reading that passage in Mark, you discover that they got in the boat and went to that solitary place, but the crowd followed them. They ran around the lake and got there first. And when Jesus saw the crowd, He had compassion on them and began teaching them. So they didn't actually get the rest Jesus had planned for them. At least not then. But the point remains, Jesus valued their rest. He prioritized it. He tried to create space for it. And throughout His ministry, we see Him doing this again and again, withdrawing to quiet places, praying alone, taking time away from the crowds. If Jesus needed rest, how much more do we? Let me take you to another passage, one that shows us what happens when we try to live without rest. When we push beyond our limits, when we ignore the warning signs that our souls are depleting. From 1 Kings chapter 19, verses 1 through 8. This is the story of Elijah, one of the great prophets of Israel. He had just experienced an incredible victory. He had called down fire from heaven, defeated the prophets of Baal, and seen God move in miraculous ways. You'd think he would be on top of the world, but then Queen Jezebel threatened his life, and everything changed. Elijah was afraid and ran for his life. When he came to Beersheba in Judah, he left his servant there, while he himself went a day's journey into the wilderness. He came to a broom bush, sat down under it, and prayed that he might die. "I have had enough, Lord," he said. "Take my life. I'm no better than my ancestors." Then he lay down under the bush and fell asleep. "I have had enough, Lord." Have you ever felt that way? Have you ever been so tired, so depleted, so overwhelmed that you just wanted to give up? Elijah, this mighty prophet who had just seen God do amazing things, was so exhausted that he wanted to die. But watch what God does next. All at once, an angel touched him and said, "Get up and eat." He looked around, and there by his head was some bread baked over hot coals and a jar of water. He ate and drank and then lay down again. The angel of the Lord came back a second time and touched him and said, "Get up and eat, for the journey is too much for you." So he got up and ate and drank. Strengthened by that food, he traveled 40 days and 40 nights until he reached Horeb, the mountain of God. God didn't rebuke Elijah for his exhaustion. He didn't lecture him about having more faith. He didn't tell him to try harder or be stronger. Instead, God provided what Elijah actually needed: food, water, sleep, rest. The angel said something crucial: "The journey is too much for you." God acknowledged that Elijah was facing something beyond his capacity. And instead of demanding that Elijah somehow find the strength within himself, God provided the strength Elijah needed. This is what Jesus does for us by the fire tonight. He acknowledges that the journey has been too much. He sees that we've been carrying weights we were never meant to carry. He understands that we've reached the end of ourselves. And he provides what we actually need, not what we think we should need. Let me share something from the Psalms now, a passage that has sustained weary souls for thousands of years. From Psalm 62, verses 1 through 2 and 5 through 8. "Truly my soul finds rest in God. My salvation comes from him. Truly he is my rock and my salvation. He is my fortress, I will never be shaken. Yes, my soul, find rest in God. My hope comes from him. Truly he is my rock and my salvation. He is my fortress, I will not be shaken. My salvation and my honor depend on God. He is my mighty rock, my refuge. Trust in him at all times, you people, and pour out your hearts to him, for God is our refuge. Truly my soul finds rest in God, not in circumstances changing, not in problems being solved, not in finally getting everything under control. My soul finds rest in God, in his presence, in his character, in his faithfulness. He is my rock and my salvation. He is my fortress, I will never be shaken. When everything else in your life feels unstable, when you feel like you're barely holding on, God is solid, immovable, trustworthy. He is your fortress, your place of safety, your refuge from the storm. Yes, my soul. Find rest in God. This is the psalmist talking to his own soul, commanding himself to rest in God. Sometimes we have to do this. We have to intentionally direct our souls toward rest because everything in us wants to keep striving, keep working, keep pushing. Trust in him at all times, you people. Pour out your hearts to him. Rest isn't just about stopping activity. It's about trust. It's about pouring out your heart to God, telling him everything, your fears, your frustrations, your exhaustion, your doubts, and trusting that he can handle it, that he will handle it, that he wants to handle it. Now let me show you something that might surprise you. It's a passage about the Sabbath, that day of rest that God commanded his people to observe. But it's going to reveal something deeper about God's heart for your rest. From the book of Exodus, chapter 20, verses 8 through 11. Remember the Sabbath day by keeping it holy. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work, but the seventh day is a Sabbath to the Lord your God. On it you shall not do any work, neither you nor your son or daughter, nor your male or female servant, nor your animals, nor any foreigner residing in your towns. For in 6 days the Lord made the heavens and the earth, the sea, and all that is in them. But he rested on the seventh day. Therefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and made it holy. Remember the Sabbath day. Not consider it if you have time, not try to fit it in if possible. Remember, make it a priority. Don't forget, by keeping it holy, set it apart, make it different, protect it, honor it. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work. God gives us 6 days to work, 6 days to be productive, 6 days to accomplish tasks. Work is good. Work is part of God's design, but it's not the whole design. But the seventh day is a Sabbath to the Lord your God. 1 day out of 7 is designated for rest. Not because you've earned it, not as a reward for working hard the other 6 days, but because God commands it, because God knows you need it, because God designed you to operate on a rhythm of work and rest. On it, you shall not do any work. Not you, not your children, not your employees, not even your animals. Everyone and everything in your sphere of influence gets to rest. This is radical. This is countercultural. This goes against everything our productivity-obsessed world tells us. For in 6 days the Lord made the heavens and the earth, the sea, and all that is in them. But he rested on the seventh day. Here it is again. God rested. He set the pattern. He showed us that rest is not optional, it's essential. It's not a luxury, it's a necessity. It's not laziness, it's holiness. Therefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and made it holy. When you rest, you're participating in something blessed by God. You're engaging in something holy. You're following a pattern established by the Creator of the universe. Now I know what some of you might be thinking. This all sounds wonderful, but you don't understand my life. I have responsibilities. I have deadlines. I have people depending on me. I don't have the luxury of rest. But here's what I want you to consider. Maybe you don't have the luxury of not resting. Maybe the reason you're so depleted, so exhausted, so barely holding on is precisely because you've been trying to operate without rest. Maybe what you think you can't afford to do is actually the one thing that will enable you to keep going. Let me share one more passage with you, and then I want to tell you something that Jesus is saying to you right now, in this moment, by this fire, from the Gospel of Matthew chapter 6, verses 25 through 34. These are words of Jesus himself, addressing the anxiety and worry that so often accompany our exhaustion. Therefore I tell you, do not worry about your life, what you will eat or drink, or about your body, what you will wear. Is not life more than food, and the body more than clothes? Look at the birds of the air. They do not sow or reap or store away in barns, and yet your heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not much more valuable than they? Can any one of you by worrying add a single hour to your life? And why do you worry about clothes? See how the flowers of the field grow. They do not labor or spin. Yet I tell you that not even Solomon in all his splendor was dressed like one of these. If that is how God clothes the grass of the field, which is here today and tomorrow is thrown into the fire, will he not much more clothe you, you of little faith? So do not worry, saying, what shall we eat? Or what shall we drink? Or what shall we wear? Yet for the pagans run after all these things, and your heavenly Father knows that you need them. But seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things will be given to you as well. Therefore do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own. Do not worry about your life. Jesus isn't minimizing your concerns. He's not saying your needs aren't real. He's saying that worry won't meet those needs. Anxiety won't solve those problems. Exhausting yourself through constant striving won't actually provide what you need. Look at the birds of the air. They don't worry about tomorrow. They don't stockpile or hoard or work themselves to death trying to guarantee their future. And yet God feeds them. God provides for them. They trust the rhythm of life that God established, and they're taken care of. Are you not much more valuable than they? You are precious to God. You are loved beyond measure. If God cares for birds, how much more does he care for you? Can any one of you by worrying add a single hour to your life? Worry is exhausting, but it's also pointless. It doesn't change anything except your peace of mind. It doesn't solve problems. It just robs you of rest. See how the flowers of the field grow. They don't labor or spin, yet God clothes them in beauty. They simply grow according to their design, and in doing so, they reflect the glory of their Creator. Your Heavenly Father knows that you need them. Before you worry about what you need, before you exhaust yourself trying to provide for yourself, remember, God knows. He knows what you need. He knows what you're facing. He knows how tired you are. And he's not surprised or overwhelmed or unsure how to help you, but seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things will be given to you as well. This is the key. When you prioritize God's presence, when you seek him first, when you sit at his feet like Mary instead of running around like Martha, everything else falls into its proper place. Not because your circumstances necessarily change, but because your perspective does. Your priorities align with his. Your peace isn't dependent on having everything under control. Therefore, do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own. Just be here today. Just handle what's in front of you right now. Don't borrow trouble from tomorrow. Don't exhaust yourself trying to control a future that hasn't arrived yet. Now let me tell you what Jesus is saying to you right now. He's looking at you across this fire, and his eyes are full of compassion. He sees every burden you're carrying. He knows every reason you think you can't rest. He understands every obligation, every responsibility, every person depending on you. He knows it all, and he's saying, I know you're tired. I know you've been running on empty. I know you feel like you can't stop, like everything will fall apart if you do. But I'm asking you to trust me. I'm asking you to believe that I can handle what you've been trying to handle on your own. I'm asking you to accept my invitation to rest, not because you've done enough, not because you've earned it, not because everything is finished and perfect, but because you're mine, because I love you, because I designed you to need rest, and I'm offering it to you right now. You don't have to figure out how to rest everywhere, all at once, forever. You don't have to solve every problem tonight. You just have to be here. You just have to stay by this fire. You just have to let me love you in your exhaustion, instead of demanding that you clean yourself up first. I'm not disappointed in your weariness. I'm not frustrated by your weakness. I'm not waiting for you to be stronger before I offer you my strength. I'm here now. The fire is warm. The rest is real. And all you have to do is receive it. The flames flicker and dance. The night deepens around you. But here by this fire with Jesus, you are safe. You are seen. You are loved. And you are invited to rest, not tomorrow, not when things slow down, not when you deserve it. Now. The night has fully settled in now. Above you, stars pierce through the darkness like tiny holes in a velvet curtain, and through those holes, heaven's light spills down. The air has grown cooler, but the fire keeps you warm. You've been here for a while now, long enough that your breathing has slowed, long enough that some of the tension has started to release from your shoulders, long enough that you're beginning to believe that maybe, just maybe, rest is actually possible. But something is still holding you back, isn't it? You can feel it. Even as you sit here, even as you've heard the invitation and the promises, there's a voice in the back of your mind. A voice that says, you don't deserve this. A voice that whispers you should be doing something productive. A voice that insists real Christians don't get this tired. That if you had more faith, you wouldn't need rest. That your exhaustion is somehow proof of your failure. Jesus hears that voice too, and he's about to address it. He leans forward slightly, and the firelight catches his face. There's no judgment there, no disappointment, no impatience with your struggle to fully receive what he's offering. Instead, there's something that looks like understanding, like he's been exactly where you are, like he knows what it's like to be utterly, completely spent, because he does know. He lived it. Let me take you to a moment in Jesus' life that often gets overlooked. A moment that reveals something profound about his humanity, his exhaustion, and his need for rest. From the Gospel of Mark, chapter 4, verses 35 through 38. That day when evening came, he said to his disciples, "Let us go over to the other side." Leaving the crowd behind, they took him along just as he was in the boat. There were also other boats with him. A furious squall came up, and the waves broke over the boat so that it was nearly swamped. Jesus was in the stern, sleeping on a cushion. Jesus was sleeping in a boat during a storm. While waves crashed over the sides and his disciples panicked, convinced they were going to drown, Jesus slept. Now, some people read this story and focus only on what happens next, on the miracle of Jesus calming the storm. But I want you to notice what comes before that. Jesus was so exhausted that even a life-threatening storm couldn't wake him. He was so deeply tired that his body shut down despite the chaos around him. This is the Son of God we're talking about. Fully divine, yes, but also fully human. And in his humanity, Jesus got tired, bone-tired, sleep through a storm tired. Can't keep going without rest tired. He wasn't tired because he was doing something wrong. He was tired because he had been pouring himself out for others, teaching, healing, caring for crowds, meeting needs, being fully present with hurting people. This is exhausting work. Holy work, yes. Important work, absolutely. But exhausting nonetheless. And Jesus' response to his exhaustion wasn't to try harder, to push through, to prove his strength. His response was to sleep, to rest, to acknowledge his human need and meet it without shame. If Jesus needed rest, then your need for rest is not a character flaw. It's not a lack of faith. It's not something to be ashamed of. It's part of being human. It's part of the design. But there's more to this story. Let me show you what happened next, because it reveals something crucial about Jesus' authority even in his humanity. Mark chapter 4, verses 39 through 41. He got up, rebuked the wind, and said to the waves, "Quiet, be still." Then the wind died down and it was completely calm. He said to his disciples, "Why are you so afraid? Do you still have no faith?" They were terrified and asked each other, "Who is this? Even the wind and the waves obey him." After Jesus rested, after he received what his body needed, he had the strength to calm the storm. Rest didn't make him weak. Rest didn't diminish his power. Rest restored him so he could do what needed to be done. This is what so many of us miss. We think rest will make us less effective, less productive, less valuable. But the opposite is true. Rest restores us so we can actually do what God is calling us to do. Without rest, we're just going through the motions, running on fumes, doing damage to ourselves and often to others. The disciples asked, "Who is this?" They were amazed that even the wind and waves obeyed him. But here's what I want you to see. Jesus had the authority to calm external storms because he first honored his need for rest. He didn't try to calm the storm while he was depleted. He rested first, then he acted. What storms in your life might be calmed if you first accepted Jesus' invitation to rest? What chaos might settle if you stopped trying to control it in your exhaustion and instead received the strength that comes from being with him? Let me take you to another moment in Jesus' life. This one shows us what happens when the demands never stop, when rest seems impossible because the needs are too great. From the Gospel of Mark, chapter 1, verses 32 through 35. That evening after sunset, the people brought to Jesus all the sick and demon-possessed. The whole town gathered at the door, and Jesus healed many who had various diseases. He also drove out many demons, but he would not let the demons speak because they knew who he was. Very early in the morning, while it was still dark, Jesus got up, left the house, and went off to a solitary place where he prayed. Look at the context. Jesus had been healing people all evening. The whole town had gathered. The needs were overwhelming. And surely when morning came, there were still people waiting. Still people who needed healing. Still people who wanted his attention. But what did Jesus do? Very early in the morning, while it was still dark, he got up and went to a solitary place to pray. He withdrew. He pulled back. He prioritized time alone with the Father over continuing to meet the endless needs around him. This is radical. This goes against everything we've been taught about being available, being helpful, being there for others. Jesus essentially said, "There are still people who need me, but I need time with my Father more." And if Jesus needed that, how much more do we? From Luke chapter 5, verse 16, we read this simple but profound statement. But Jesus often withdrew to lonely places and prayed. Often, not once. Not occasionally, often. It was a pattern, a practice, a priority. Jesus regularly chose solitude over crowds. He regularly chose prayer over productivity. He regularly chose being with the Father over doing for others. Because he understood something we often forget. We cannot give what we don't have. We cannot minister from an empty place. We cannot love others well if we're not receiving love ourselves. Now let me show you something that might make you uncomfortable. It's a story about what happens when we don't rest, when we keep pushing beyond our limits, when we confuse exhaustion with faithfulness. From the book of Numbers, chapter 11, verses 10 through 15. This is Moses speaking to God, and he's reached his breaking point. Moses heard the people of every family wailing at the entrance to their tents. The Lord became exceedingly angry, and Moses was troubled. He asked the Lord, "Why have you brought this trouble on your servant? What have I done to displease you, that you put the burden of all these people on me? Did I conceive all these people? Did I give them birth? Why do you tell me to carry them in my arms, as a nurse carries an infant, to the land you promised on oath to their ancestors? Where can I get meat for all these people? They keep wailing to me, give us meat to eat. And I cannot carry all these people by myself. The burden is too heavy for me. If this is how you are going to treat me, please go ahead and kill me, if I have found favor in your eyes, and do not let me face my own ruin. This is Moses, the man who led Israel out of Egypt, the man who spoke with God face to face, the man who performed miracles and received the 10 Commandments. And he's so burned out, so overwhelmed, so exhausted that he's asking God to let him die. I cannot carry all these people by myself. The burden is too heavy for me. Moses had been trying to do everything alone. He'd been carrying burdens he was never meant to carry by himself. And it had brought him to the point of complete collapse. Maybe you know that feeling. Maybe you've been there, or maybe you're there right now, carrying burdens that are too heavy, trying to meet needs you can't possibly meet alone, exhausting yourself in service while slowly dying inside. Here's what's beautiful about this story. God didn't rebuke Moses for his honesty. He didn't tell him to have more faith or try harder. Instead, God provided a solution. He told Moses to gather 70 elders, and God put his spirit on them so they could share the burden of leading the people. God never intended Moses to carry it all alone. And God never intended you to carry your burdens alone either. Part of rest is learning to share the load, to accept help, to acknowledge that you're not meant to be everything to everyone. But there's something even deeper here, something about the nature of the burdens we carry and where they come from. Let me show you what Jesus said about this, from the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 23, verse 4. Jesus is speaking about the religious leaders of his day. They tie up heavy, cumbersome loads and put them on other people's shoulders, but they themselves are not willing to lift a finger to move them. Some of the burdens you're carrying aren't from God at all. They're burdens that other people placed on you, expectations that were never meant for you, standards you were never called to meet, obligations that don't actually come from God, but from a system, a culture, a family pattern, or a religious tradition that confused busyness with holiness. Jesus came to lift those burdens off you. Remember what he said? Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. My yoke is easy and my burden is light. If the burden you're carrying is crushing you, if the yoke you're wearing is chafing and painful, it might not be from Jesus at all. It might be something you took on that he never asked you to carry. Let me share another passage with you, one that reveals the rest that's available when we stop trying to prove ourselves and simply trust in what Jesus has already done. From the book of Hebrews, chapter 4, verses 9 through 11. There remains then a Sabbath rest for the people of God. For anyone who enters God's rest also rests from their works, just as God did from his. Let us, therefore, make every effort to enter that rest, so that no one will perish by following their example of disobedience. There remains a Sabbath rest for the people of God. It's still available. It's still being offered. Right now, tonight, by this fire, that rest is within reach. For anyone who enters God's rest also rests from their works. This is crucial. Resting from your works doesn't mean you never do anything. It means you stop trying to earn God's love through what you do. You stop trying to prove your worth through your productivity. You stop believing that your value is determined by your output. You rest from the work of trying to be enough because Jesus is enough. You rest from the work of trying to earn love because you're already loved. You rest from the work of trying to save yourself because you're already saved, just as God did from his. God rested not because the work was unimportant, but because it was finished. And Jesus said the same thing from the cross. It is finished. The work of your salvation is complete. You don't have to add to it. You don't have to prove yourself worthy of it. You just have to receive it. Let us therefore make every effort to enter that rest. This sounds paradoxical, doesn't it? make every effort to rest. But here's what it means. Rest doesn't just happen automatically. You have to choose it. You have to fight for it. You have to resist the voices telling you that rest is laziness. You have to set boundaries. This is revolutionary. God's power isn't made perfect in your strength. It's made perfect in your weakness. When you're exhausted, when you're depleted, when you have nothing left to give, that's when God's power can work most clearly through you. Because everyone can see it's not your power at all. Therefore, I will boast all the more gladly about my weaknesses. Paul learned to embrace his weakness instead of hiding it. He learned to be honest about his limitations instead of pretending he had it all together. He learned that vulnerability wasn't a liability, but an opportunity for God's power to be displayed, so that Christ's power may rest on me. When you stop trying to be strong in your own strength, Christ's power can rest on you. When you stop pretending you have it all together, God's grace can flow through you in ways it never could when you were striving. For when I am weak, then I am strong. This is the paradox of the kingdom. Real strength comes not from denying your weakness, but from acknowledging it and depending on God's strength instead. When you finally admit you can't do it alone, that's when you discover you were never meant to. But I know what you're thinking. This sounds good in theory, but how does it work in practice? How do I actually live this way when I have real responsibilities, real people depending on me, real demands that won't go away just because I acknowledge my weakness? Let me show you something practical, something that reveals how Jesus himself dealt with this tension between human limitations and divine calling. From the Gospel of Mark, chapter 1, verses 35 through 39. We've touched on this passage before, but now I want you to see something you might have missed. Very early in the morning, while it was still dark, Jesus got up, left the house, and went off to a solitary place where he prayed. Simon and his companions went to look for him, and when they found him, they exclaimed, "Everyone is looking for you." Now Jesus replied, "Let us go somewhere else, to the nearby villages, so I can preach there also. That is why I have come." So he traveled throughout Galilee, preaching in their synagogues and driving out demons. Jesus went to a solitary place to pray. He withdrew from the needs, the demands, the people who wanted his attention. But then his disciples found him and said, "Everyone is looking for you." In other words, Jesus, people need you. There are still sick people to heal. There are still questions to answer. There are still problems to solve. You can't rest now. Everyone is looking for you. And what did Jesus say? Did he immediately go back to meet all those needs? Did he feel guilty for taking time to pray? Did he exhaust himself trying to help everyone who wanted his help? No, he said, "Let us go somewhere else." Jesus had the courage to disappoint people's expectations. He had the wisdom to know that he couldn't meet every need. He understood that his calling wasn't to do everything for everyone, but to do what the Father was specifically asking him to do. That is why I have come. Jesus had clarity about his purpose. He wasn't trying to be everything to everyone. He was focused on his specific mission, and that focus meant sometimes saying no to good things, even to people who genuinely needed help, in order to say yes to the right things. This is crucial for you to understand. You're not called to meet every need. You are not required to help everyone who asks. You are not responsible for solving every problem in your sphere of influence. Jesus himself didn't do that, and he was perfect and sinless and the Son of God. If Jesus had boundaries, you're allowed to have boundaries too. If Jesus prioritized time alone with the Father over meeting people's demands, you're allowed to do the same. If Jesus had the courage to disappoint some people's expectations, you can too. Let me show you something else. Something about the rhythm of life that God designed. A rhythm that we've largely abandoned in our culture of constant productivity. From the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, verses 1 through 8. There is a time for everything, and a season for every activity under the heavens. A time to be born, and a time to die. A time to plant, and a time to uproot. A time to kill, and a time to heal. A time to tear down, and a time to build. A time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance, a time to scatter stones and a time to gather them, a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing, a time to search and a time to give up, a time to keep, and amidst of that darkness, the prophet wrote these words, "Because of the Lord's great love, we are not consumed, for his compassions never fail. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness. I say to myself, the Lord is my portion, therefore I will wait for him. Because of the Lord's great love, we are not consumed." You haven't been consumed by your exhaustion. You haven't been destroyed by your weariness. You haven't been overcome by the weight you've been carrying. Why? Because of the Lord's great love. His love has been holding you, sustaining you, keeping you even when you didn't realize it. For his compassions never fail. Never. Not sometimes. Not usually. Never. God's compassion for you doesn't run out. It doesn't get depleted. It doesn't reach a limit where he says, "That's it, I'm done. You've used up all your chances." They are new every morning. This is the key. Every single morning, God's compassions are renewed. His mercy is fresh. His grace is abundant. Yesterday's failures don't determine today's possibilities. Yesterday's exhaustion doesn't have to dictate today's experience. Every morning is a new beginning, a fresh start, another opportunity to receive what God is offering. Great is your faithfulness. This isn't about your faithfulness to God, though that matters. This is about God's faithfulness to you, his consistency, his reliability, his absolute trustworthiness. When everything else in your life feels unstable and uncertain, God remains faithful. I say to myself, the Lord is my portion, therefore I will wait for him. The prophet had to speak truth to himself. He had to remind his own soul of what was real. This is what you'll need to do too. You'll need to remind yourself of what happened here by this fire. You'll need to speak truth to your weary soul when the old patterns try to reassert themselves. The Lord is my portion, not my accomplishments, not my productivity, not my ability to keep it all together. The Lord himself is my portion. He is enough. He is sufficient. He is all I truly need. Let me show you something else. Something about the journey ahead and how to walk it without falling back into exhaustion from the book of Isaiah, chapter 30, verses 15 and 18. This is what the sovereign Lord, the Holy One of Israel, says, "In repentance and rest is your salvation. In quietness and trust is your strength. But you would have none of it. Yet the Lord longs to be gracious to you. Therefore he will rise up to show you compassion. For the Lord is a God of justice. Blessed are all who wait for him." We've looked at part of this passage before, but now I want you to see the second half. Yet the Lord longs to be gracious to you. Even when you refuse rest, even when you choose striving over stillness, even when you ignore his invitation, the Lord longs to be gracious to you. Your resistance doesn't change his heart toward you. Your struggle doesn't diminish his love. Therefore, he will rise up to show you compassion. God doesn't just passively offer compassion. He actively rises up to show it. He pursues you with it. He chases you down with his mercy. Like this fire that's been burning all night, waiting for you to come and receive its warmth. For the Lord is a God of justice. And here's what justice means in this context. God will make things right. He will restore what exhaustion has stolen. He will bring balance to what's been out of balance. He will set things in their proper order. Blessed are all who wait for him. Waiting isn't passive. It's active trust. It's choosing to believe that God will come through, that he will provide, that he will sustain. It's resting in his timing rather than frantically trying to force your own. Now let me address something important. Something you need to hear clearly before you leave this place. You're going to face opposition to this rest. Not just from external circumstances, though those will certainly challenge you, but from internal voices, from the parts of yourself that have been trained to equate worth with productivity, that have learned to find identity and accomplishment, that feel guilty whenever you're not doing something. These voices will tell you that this night by the fire was nice, but now it's time to get back to reality. They'll whisper that rest is a luxury you can't afford. They'll insist that if you don't push yourself, everything will fall apart. And when those voices come, and they will come, I want you to remember something Jesus said from the Gospel of John, chapter 8, verses 31 through 32, and verse 36. Jesus said, "If you hold to my teaching, you are really my disciples. Then you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. So if the Son sets you free, you will be free indeed, if you hold to my teaching." Hold to what you've learned here. Cling to these truths. Don't let them go when circumstances get difficult or voices get loud. Then you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. The truth is that you're loved unconditionally. The truth is that rest is holy. The truth is that your worth isn't earned. The truth is that God's strength is made perfect in your weakness. And this truth, when you really know it, when you live in it, will set you free. Free from the tyranny of others' expectations. Free from the prison of perfectionism. Free from the exhaustion of constantly trying to prove yourself. Free from the fear that if you stop, everything will collapse. So if the Son sets you free, you will be free indeed. Jesus has been setting you free tonight. From lies you've believed, from patterns you've lived, from burdens you've carried. And the freedom he gives is real freedom. Complete freedom. Freedom indeed. Let me give you one more passage to carry with you. One more truth to sustain you in the days and weeks and months ahead, from the book of Philippians, chapter 4, verses 4 through 7. The Apostle Paul wrote these words from prison, from a place of immense difficulty and limitation, and yet they overflow with peace. Rejoice in the Lord always. I will say it again, rejoice. Let your gentleness be evident to all. The Lord is near. Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition with thanksgiving, present your requests to God, and the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. Rejoice in the Lord always. Not rejoice in your circumstances, not rejoice in your feelings. Rejoice in the Lord, in his character, in his faithfulness, in his presence always, even when you're tired, even when things are hard, even when rest feels elusive. Let your gentleness be evident to all. Be gentle with others, yes, but also be gentle with yourself. Stop being so harsh, so demanding, so critical of your own limitations. The same gentleness you extend to others, extend to yourself. The Lord is near. This is why you can rejoice. This is why you can be gentle. Because the Lord is near. He's not far off. He's not distant. He's right here, as close as he was by the fire tonight. His nearness is constant, even when you can't feel it. Do not be anxious about anything. This is a command, not a suggestion. Don't let anxiety rule your life. Don't let worry dictate your choices. Don't let fear drive you back into exhaustion. But in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. Instead of anxiety, prayer. Instead of worry, thanksgiving. Instead of trying to control everything, presenting your request to God and trusting him with the outcomes. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. This is the promise. Peace that doesn't make sense given your circumstances. Peace that can't be explained by external factors. Peace that transcends understanding. And this peace doesn't just visit you occasionally. It guards you. It protects your heart. It defends your mind. It keeps you in Christ Jesus. The sun is fully above the horizon now. The world is waking up. Somewhere in the distance, you can hear birds beginning their morning songs. Life is resuming its normal rhythm. And soon, you'll need to step back into that rhythm too. But you won't step back as the same person who came to this fire last night. Jesus places his hand on your shoulder, and the weight of it is both gentle and strong. I need you to know something before you go, he says, and his voice carries a note of urgency. This rest you've experienced tonight, it's not a one-time event. It's not something you check off a list and move on from. It's a way of life. It's a relationship. It's a daily choice to come back to the fire, to sit with me, to receive what I'm offering. He pauses, making sure you're really hearing him. You're going to have days when you forget, days when you slip back into old patterns, Days when exhaustion creeps back in despite your best intentions. And when that happens, not if, but when, I want you to remember that the fire is still burning. I'm still here. The invitation still stands. You can always come back. From the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 11, verses 28 through 30. These are the words Jesus spoke 2,000 years ago, and they're the words he's speaking to you right now. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. Come to me, not once, not just tonight, but continually, regularly, daily. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened. This invitation doesn't expire. It doesn't have a time limit. As long as you're weary, as long as you're burdened, the invitation remains. Come, and I will give you rest. This is Jesus' promise. Not I might give you rest. Not I'll give you rest if you deserve it. I will give you rest. It's certain. It's sure. It's guaranteed. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me. Stay connected to Jesus. Keep learning from him. Keep receiving from him. Keep being yoked to him so that he carries the weight and you walk in step with him. For I am gentle and humble in heart. You'd never have to be afraid of Jesus. You never have to worry that he'll be harsh or demanding or disappointed. He is gentle. He is humble. He is safe, and you will find rest for your souls. Not just rest for your body, though that will come too, but rest for your souls. The deep, lasting, transformative rest that changes everything. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. When you're yoked to Jesus, life doesn't become effortless, but it does become bearable. The burden becomes light, not because circumstances change, but because you're not carrying it alone anymore. Jesus steps back, giving you space to absorb everything, to let it all settle into your spirit. The fire has burned down to glowing coals now, but the warmth remains. The night has given way to day, but the transformation that happened in the darkness will endure in the light. There's one more thing, Jesus says. And he reaches into the fire with a stick, stirring the coals. They flare briefly, reminded of their nature, of what they were created to do. I want you to see this. These coals, they look like they're dying, don't they? Like they're almost gone. But watch. He places a new log on the coals, and within moments the fire begins to grow again. Small flames lick at the fresh wood. The heat intensifies. The light brightens. What seemed almost dead is suddenly fully alive again. That's what I do, Jesus says. When you feel like you're burnt out, like you have nothing left, like the fire in you has gone cold, I can reignite it. I can restore it. I can bring it back to life. Not through your effort, but through my presence. Not through your striving, but through your surrender. Not through doing more, but through receiving more. From the book of Joel, chapter 2, verses 25 through 26. I will repay you for the years the locusts have eaten, the great locust and the young locust, the other locusts and the locust swarm, my great army that I sent among you. You will have plenty to eat until you are full, and you will praise the name of the Lord your God, who has worked wonders for you. Never again will my people be shamed. I will repay you for the years the locusts have eaten. God will restore what exhaustion has stolen. He will give back what weariness has taken. The years you've lost to burnout, to striving, to running on empty, God will redeem them. He will make them count. He will bring beauty from the ashes. You will have plenty to eat until you are full. No more living on scraps. No more barely getting by. No more running on empty. God promises abundance, fullness, satisfaction, enough.